Hey, Family Seekers. Brian Leslie Flathery here once again, coming to you in course number 6, The Secret to Parenting in Partnership. Say that 6 times fast. It's amazing. In this unit today, which is unit number 2, is we're going to talk about United Front, which is really kind of funny because right before we jumped on here to record, my wife and I weren't very united. we were having a moment with what the recording looked like and how it was. But it's important. United Front. You don't want to talk about. What's that mean? It means that you look alike? No. United Front. Let me tell you this. When you are raising children, you need to be united in the process of raising your children.
Yes.
I tell the story, and have for decades, and I believe it's true. Leslie's not so sure. I want to do investigative reporting on this, and bear with me. If you are a nurse or a doctor and you can verify this, let me know, please. Yes. I've always said this, that when a child is born, that the nurses go in to the nursery, at the hospital nursery, and they whisper into the ears of those precious, innocent children. And they whisper to them, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. You know it's true. Every child has an innate understanding and an innate ability that when you're parenting them, what is their number one strategy? Divide and conquer. They will question you. If they come to you, Dad, they're like, Daddy, can I have that last ice cream sandwich that Mom bought for herself?
Don't do it.
And you're like, she's so cute, those big doe eyes, and I love her so much. Yes, but what you didn't realize that she already went to your wife and asked the same question.
Yeah.
And Mom already told her no. She just divided and conquered.
Yes.
Now, you two are going to fight while she's eating her ice cream sandwich.
Yeah. It's true.
You have to have a united front.
Yes.
You need to learn that your children, as beautiful as they are, as cute as they are, as wonderful as they are, have humanity in their heart.
Yes.
The scripture says that our heart, that the big saying right now is to follow your heart. It's such stupid advice because your heart, the Bible says, is full of all sorts of nasty stuff, wrong things. Your heart will mislead you because your emotions will mislead you. And so that's a whole other sermon, talk, course, lesson, whatever, way over here. We'll do that at some point. But the thing is, that's inside of your child. I know they're perfect. They get the perfect teeth, or no teeth yet. They get the perfect hair. They look just like so-and-so. I mean, I get all that because we adore our children, and you should adore your children. But I'm telling you that inside of them is the ability to divide and conquer you. So you have to have a united front.
Yeah.
You have to come together and decide ahead of time, what are you going to do to raise this child? How are you going to raise this child? What kind of discipline are you going to use? What can they and can they not do? Where can they and can they not go?
Yeah.
Who can they and who can they not hang out with? You make the decision. You're the parent. You're not the child. You're the parent. You make the decision. Now, let me say this. When your little one comes in and starts asking, can I have the ice cream sandwich? What number one thing at our house, and you can jump anytime you want, the number one thing at our house of what we've learned to do is check with the other spouse.
Yeah.
My kids never, after about 3 years old, they quit asking those questions. Because they know the first thing I'm going to ask them when they come to me, hey, Dad, can I? I'm always going to go, look at them and go, and I got to the point I had to look at them. Like, yes, I already asked Mom. No, I didn't ask Mom. Either way, and they're like, my first response was, well, what did your mom say? Yeah. Did you ask your mom? Yeah. Well, yeah, and what did your mother say?
No.
Well, then what do you think my response is going to be?
No.
You're a really smart child. I'm so proud of you in this moment.
Yeah.
Go play. Because you're not getting the ice cream sandwich. Right? So it's what you do, how you do it, and it's working out in front. And that works through I'm talking about it a little bit, through every season and age that they go through.
Yes.
You have to come together. Because even when they get older, they get more creative,
Mm-hmm.
and they're smarter,
Yeah.
and they're brighter, and they learn from their friends, and they take notes and go to webinars and watch YouTube channels
Yeah.
to figure out how to manipulate you.
Mm-hmm.
And we should do a YouTube channel on how to manipulate you. Anyway,
No, don't.
I'm joking. And so you have to be united. You don't have to be so rigid that you can't flex, but you have to have a united front. You got to work together as
Yes.
husband and wife.
I think the key phrase that he used early on was the ahead of time. Ahead of time. So when they're very little, before they're starting to ask you for things
Yeah.
and all that, make a decision early on that this is how you're going to
Right.
deal with different topics and subjects. You know they're going to happen. Your child's going to want to do, all kinds of things.
Right.
And you just need to be ahead of them. You can do that. Be ahead of a little kid. You can do it. You can do it. So get in there and talk with your spouse and decide how you're going to deal with different situations. The phrase that we use about did you ask your mom or did you ask your dad?
Right.
That is that's gold. That is gold. You need to use that constantly. Did you ask your dad? Did you ask your mom? Do not give an answer. Do not give an answer to your child unless you have spoken to the spouse about
Right.
what they're asking. This starts getting a little interesting when they want to stay all night at someone's house. Okay, so I may know that family better than Brian does. And so to me, it doesn't seem like a big deal and I'm okay with it. So, but if I go ahead and say yes to that child,
Yeah.
then Brian says, I don't even know that family. I don't know if I want her over there. I don't know how they do things. He has all kinds of questions. And I jumped and said yes. Well, then you have to retract a yes in order to discuss it.
Right.
And that's bad.
Right.
Then the child already knows that they've got a wedge between
Right.
you, and then they're going to capitalize on that. So always talk before giving an answer.
Yeah.
When they're little, you can simply say, did you ask mom or dad? When they start getting bigger, you have to ask more questions.
You do.
More questions.
Yeah.
So always ask more questions. And then if you have to, say, you're going to need to give me time to speak with your dad or with your mom. And then the two of you get together, talk about how you feel about it, what you want to do about it, and where that's going to lead, and if that's okay for your child.
Sure.
But you need to have questions, and then you need to have discussion,
Right.
and then you need to go back to the child and say, this is what we decided. Right.
Not the three of us.
Right.
We
decided, and this is what we're going to do.
Remember, you're parenting.
Right. And so sometimes the answer can be yes, and
Yeah,
sometimes it needs to be no. And then you need to share with that child, this is the reason why we're saying no.
Right.
And we love you. And that's the main reason. We love you and we're
Right.
looking out for you. It's our job to watch out for you.
That's right.
So always check with each other. Always check with each other.
Yeah.
Discuss. Ask questions.
Yeah.
Find out. Try not to jump on an answer without asking the other one. Because even if it seems simple, sometimes it causes a problem. So.
Yeah, and even when they make the request, especially an older child,
Mhm.
not so much the little one, but when the older one makes a request, they're pre-adolescent, teenage years, okay? When they come and ask that question, and your first response in your mind maybe sounds all right, I will literally say, that sounds okay, but let me just have a conversation with your mom to be safe on that. Let me just double check.
Mhm.
And as soon as I do that, I'll get back with you. And treat them with respect.
Right.
Don't just dismiss them out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to what they're asking, treat them with respect, treat them with honor, and they will return that. They may not like the decision that you make.
Right.
My children always love me when my decisions go for them.
Mm-hmm.
My daughters, if I do something for them
Yeah.
and I make a decision that benefits them and they like, they're like,
Mhm.
I love you, Dad. It's like, yeah, you love me because I said yes, not because you love me. And I know they love me. Don't hear that
Yeah,
wrong.
they do.
But they really love me when I agree with their agenda.
Yeah.
But when I disagree with their agenda, I'll even sometimes like, you love me still?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, I love you, kind of, right now, get on my face. but
They don't say that.
no, they don't. I'm just playing. But anyway, you want to more or less going to be like a disclaimer as you do that, because you're still partnering with your wife, you're still partnering with your husband in this partnership of parenting. And so you want to do that,
Yes.
and you want to have that conversation, because you want to have the conversation
Right.
to make sure, pardon me, got an itch right there, it's great. You want to make sure that, and they need to understand that all your decisions are not individual decisions.
Right.
All your decisions affect each other.
Right.
And even sometimes they may be asking you to do something. Maybe it's to go out, like you said, go out and spend the night with somebody. And we've let our kids spend the night with people, and we don't, it's fine. But maybe sometimes you have some other plan that they don't know about.
Yeah.
Or you're going to, there's a family thing, or you're going to support someone else in the family, and they don't know that. We haven't had that conversation yet. They're like, well, we were going to do this instead. But I really want to. I said, totally understand, but family comes first, so let's reschedule. You can go maybe next weekend or 2 weekends away, or whatever works for them. Let's work out a time, not tonight, that'll work out later. I'll give you an example. I had a daughter come to me, and she wanted to go stay the night with her friend. And I know the family really, really well. Leslie knows the family really, really well. We love that family really, really well. In that particular case, there's multiple kids in the house, and several teenagers. And the girl that's the friend of my daughter is the only girl. So there's several teenage boys in that house. You see where I'm going? Well, in that particular case, I happen to know the dad's work schedule, because we're close friends. And he wasn't going to be home that night. And I told her no, because the dad's presence wasn't going to be in the home.
Yeah.
I trust my daughter. I trust those teenage boys.
Yeah.
And I trust the other girl. I trusted them. But I'm not going to put them in a position to be tempted to even try or do something that's not right without some parental leadership in that house.
Yeah.
And so it was a no for that night.
Yeah.
And then it was a few days later that my friend was going to be home, and my daughter worked it out, and they went and spent the night.
Yeah.
Slight little difference, same little place,
Right.
but my job is to protect my children. My
Right.
job is to protect their image. My job is to protect their reputation and their well-being. And like I said, I trusted everyone in that process.
Yeah.
It wasn't throwing doubt on anyone, but I would rather err in my daughter's favor and being a little overprotective at that moment than not protecting her at all. And I'm also protecting the other family, because if something comes out of there and there's a he said, she said that came out of that, you need something to brace that. So they may not like the decision, but you have to explain to them that you're looking out for their well-being. She was not happy in the moment, but we worked it out, and she got to go at a different time, a different day. That's a little different nuance when they're older, but it's still parenting together.
And really, just like in the first unit, this is another place where you want to start early.
Yeah.
Start early asking questions about what they're actually doing and what they want to do and what they want to have.
Yeah.
Start early having discussions with your spouse about everything that's happening, because you then are modeling to them that this is how it's going to work. From the beginning, we are going to discuss what's happening with our family, with you, the child, and with us, and they need to see the united front of the two of you.
Yeah.
And they need to know that for our family, you have to have the permission of both. You have to have you have to give the parents time to discuss, and we will get back to you. We have one child who was more of a I want an instant answer person, and that doesn't work very well at our house. So she had to learn that you'll have to wait for us to talk about it, and then we'll get back to you. Now, she's very good at waiting on that now, and she knows to ask early so that she can have time for that waiting to happen before her desired thing is.
Right.
But it's really important to start early with asking the questions and discussing and making decisions together about what's going to happen for that child.
Yeah, and the second thing that nurses whisper into the children's ears after divide and conquer is pressure. Pressure to get your answer. Because that child may come up to you and they may have that phone. Dad, I'm talking to so-and-so. They want us to come over tonight, spend the night. Can I do that? Right? Then hang on. And then what you make, and I've literally taken the phone and said, I'll have her call you back in a little bit.
Yeah.
which didn't make anybody happy. The friend, the child, no one happy. And don't allow pressure to force your decision.
Yeah, because you're under no pressure
None.
as the parent to be the parent.
None.
Right.
None whatsoever. But a lot of parents feel that way.
Yeah.
A lot of parents feel like, well, I got to make this decision right now. Well, normally I asked your dad, but he's not. He's gone to the store. No, we're going to wait for dad to get back.
Yeah.
We're going to wait for mom to get back.
Yes.
We're gonna have that conversation.
Yeah.
You'll have to get back with so and so, and it might be 20 minutes, might be an hour.
Right.
There's not a no yet,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a maybe. But we
Right.
still have to have that discussion, and
Yes.
don't allow them to exert that kind of pressure and manipulation on you.
Mhm.
And you lead, you parent, you do that. And
Right.
so, and again, it's having a united front. And here's the thing: once you model that time and time and time and time and time again,
Yep.
you're very much less likely. It can
Mhm.
still happen, but you're much less likely to have a child try to use those tactics with you,
Yes.
because they know better,
Yeah.
because you've trained them by your actions, by how you do things.
Yeah.
And since you do things consistently, they'll learn to be consistent in their requests.
Yes.
Anything else?
No, that's good.
All right.
Be a united front.
You can do it. We're rooting for you. We'll talk to you in the next unit. All right. Bye for now.